Okay, today we are playing a game on Route 66. We are in the Platinum SR range, and we will be playing Baguette the entire way through. And our current team composition is goats. It's goats, okay. It's very boring because it's goats. Let's just start the game. So we've got to attack Route 66, which can go a few different ways, but, you know, it's generally easier than attacking somewhere like Dorado, in my experience, until you get to the third checkpoint, where it suddenly becomes extremely hard to attack Route 66. So Reinhardt immediately decides he doesn't want to be alive anymore, so he goes all the fuck way in. And miraculously enough, he's actually alive, due in no small part to Moira. He doesn't deserve to be alive. Let the record show, the fact that Reinhardt got out of there with his life is extremely upsetting to me. Someone on their team died, but I was too busy being upset about Reinhardt. And, you know, this man, he already doesn't deserve to be alive. So what does he decide to do? Stand around, swinging his hammer, jumping around in front of them like a clown when he's at, like, a quarter health. So we could have stun this charge, well, countercharged, basically, you know, over there since they nerfed it. We also could have stopped this. Brigitte can interrupt Earth Shatter if you're ready for it, but he built up his Earth Shatter a little bit faster than I would have expected him to, so we'll give you a pass on not being ready on the button to stop that one. Well, she got nano boosted just in time to kill us with that right click. Might have killed us anyway, actually, but... So that fight ended up not going so well. Turns out when you get Earth Shattered, it becomes a lot harder to win the fight after that. If we did countercharge when he was pinning the Diva, that would have actually probably gone a lot better, because he probably got the last part of his Earth Shatter off of that pin. So if we interrupted it, that would have actually probably made that fight go better. He at least wouldn't have been in such a good position to use Earth Shatter either, if nothing else, so... There's that. That could have potentially made it go better. Though, at the same time... It's hard to say, because he was probably really close to having it regardless, so just because we stop him from doing it there, our Reinhardt isn't great, so no guarantee of him ever blocking anything. Could have stopped that one again. He's dead regardless, because he's isolated off in this little closet with us. It's actually a cave, it's not a closet, but, you know, any small enclosed location. That's a closet. That's a closet right there. Diva killed a couple people as well. I was going to say a bunch of people. I think it was exactly 2 people with her ultimate. And look, just like that. Easy peasy. Thank goodness their Reinhardt could throw slightly harder than our Reinhardt could. Nice, nice. It's not about which team is better. It's about which team is less boosted. This is a really good color palette for Brigitte. This is the Dallas Fuel, I think, skin. This is a very good color palette for Brigitte. I like it. So, anyway, what was happening? So, Earth Shatter happened. We at least didn't get hit. Don't know if anybody behind us got hit. Someone probably did. Sucks to be Diva, basically. We ended up putting her in a worse position with that shot, because she ended up getting pinned over there, next to the enemy team, rather than getting pushed further into our team, which means it's going to be unfortunate for her. You gotta be real careful when you whip shot Reinhardt when he's charging in general as Brigitte, because when people dodge Reinhardt's charge, they're going to the side of Reinhardt. So, if you suddenly push him like 5 feet in one direction, then suddenly someone who was going to dodge it is not dodging it anymore. So you gotta be careful about that. Obviously, it doesn't matter so much in that circumstance where he had... wow, again, damn. Where he had already, like, clasped onto someone. But we do it a couple other times as well. You gotta be careful when you whip shot the Reinhardt as Brigitte when they're charging. So, he got his Earth Shatter again, which is very, very upsetting. We could go up and shield bash him right now, because if you can't stop the Earth Shatter, you can at least, like, hinder Reinhardt's follow-up to it by just stunning him right afterwards. He was only really in a position to hit Zarya, though, so she got away regardless. Our Reinhardt was 1,000 miles behind the enemy team, so he's fucking dead as shit. Not really the end of the world to die right here. Our spawn's right over there. They also used Deadeye when this happened, by the way. I heard Deadeye go off. So they just used 4 ultimates, and, like, to be honest with you, we're 5 feet away from our spawn. So, as far as I'm concerned, that's actually fantastic information, that they used half their team's ultimates when we're at our spawn right now. So we get to regroup real quick, because our spawn's right here, and hey, now we've got our Graviton ready to go as well. Did their Reinhardt Earth Shatter again? And I think that was our Reinhardt. Oh, no, their Reinhardt just Earth Shattered as well. Okay, alright. There's a lot of Earth Shattering happening in this game, huh? And he's been nano boosted now, but there's not a lot he can do with it. Everybody just kind of scatters, and at that point he's pretty upset. So that's why you don't commit a bunch of your ultimates to killing the attacking team when you're right. Damn, Graviton's happened again. Damn, they're building their ults so fast. Holy shit. This is why you don't commit a bunch of your ultimates to killing the attacking team when you're right next to their spawn. Because then they can just regroup in their spawn 10 seconds later, and then they come out with their ultimates, and you just use 3 ultimates to kill them, so you don't have your ults to fend them off. They got their ults partway through the fight, but we'd already won the fight by that point, so they just ended up wasting their ultimates again. Deadeye Graviton isn't really the greatest combo in the world, unless you're in a kind of a specific situation. So I would have liked if we came up here to block for this Zarya. Shield's big enough to block for 1 person. She's sleepy and purple right now, and we know McCree was up there a second ago making eyes at. Oh, McCree's dead actually, so that's not an issue anymore. How did he die? Damn, he just got killed by Fire Strike. Shit. Oh well, I would have still liked if we went up there and started blocking for the purple sleepy person regardless, because she was pretty close to dying. I don't want her to just, like, get killed because something smacked her while she was asleep. Oh, poor Brigitte, huh? The only one in this black hole. All for her. Anna's trying to make a break for it, but she's fucking dead. She ain't getting anywhere. I know we haven't really learned much so far. There's some questions in the email at the end. Don't worry, don't worry. There isn't as much to say about Brigitte as there are for some other people, you know? It's kind of that way. So we've propped Rally really early. A little earlier than I would have liked to, because ideally with Rally, like, you pop it early enough that you get the chance to build up full armor on everybody, or close to full armor to everybody, and then actually have a fight while Rally's still going, because then you get to also, you have the big buffer at the start with the 100 armor, but then you also have the armor regen during the fight as well, so popped it a little bit earlier than I would have liked to. Very, very slightly. So there we whip shot the Reinhardt while he's charging again. You gotta be real careful when you do that, because you never know who you're gonna push him into. Same with, like, Lucio. Lucio's love to boop the Reinhardt when he's charging, and then, like, 9 times out of 10, Lucio kills somebody by doing that. This is kind of a weird segue, but, like, does anybody find it kind of weird that they decided to start bullet pointing the chat window? Like, was it really that hard to read the chat window that they felt they had to put bullet points next to things as well now? It doesn't really make any difference either way, but, like, I just saw it, like, the day it came in, I was like, why did we do this? And I was just kind of like, I was more upset about it than it had any right to be, because it's such a nothing change, but I was like, why? Why are the bullet points here now? Why do we need to do this? Whatever. Literally doesn't matter at all, but I like to find reasons to be upset, basically. I'm that kind of person. I wake up in the morning, I wake up in the evening, and I spring out of bed. I crawl out of bed, and I'm like, what can I be angry about today? And then I go on the internet, and it never fails to supply something for me to be angry about. There's always something to be upset about. So, we've managed to get partway into the last checkpoint. Again, he's got Earth Shatter again. He's building up his Earth Shatter real fucking quick, huh? What did we take all that damage from? Oh, Hanzo did it. I was like, we just, like, basically almost died. It was Hanzo. Hanzo did it. That was very sudden. We could see Hanzo over there, and we should have been blocking more in his direction rather than the Reinhardt, really. Because what's Reinhardt gonna do? A lot less than the Hanzo will do in that position. So, could have been blocking that, but like, we did suddenly take a lot of damage, so it's not too shocking to die right after suddenly losing most of your health. So we've got Rally again. Here comes their Reinhardt. Oh look, they're using all of their ultimates literally 3 feet away from our spawn right now. So again, this is fantastic information as far as I'm concerned, because we've got 3 ultimates, almost 4 ultimates to use right now. And they just used 2 of their big ones, 3 of their big ones, like right there, right outside the spawn. So our Zarya just used Grav a little bit early, but Hanzo's ready to go, and that's like literally all that matters, to be fair. Where was Reinhardt? He was behind us. He earth-shattered us as we ran out of the spawn. That's hardly surprising at this point, honestly, to be fair. Like, to be fair, at this point, we should no longer be surprised that Reinhardt is in weird positions and ready to earth-shatter us. Anyway, doesn't matter. We got a lot of his team already by that point. He's still alive, but not anymore. Ran up, gave him 1 smack, and he's dead. That's always nice when, you know, sometimes you just smack someone, you're like, oh, he died! Oh, wow! Oh, that not always feels good. Regardless of who you're playing. So, here comes their Reinhardt again? No, I thought I heard Reinhardt start charging, but he has not arrived. So, there he is, there he is, there he is. So we are playing, like, a little bit, pensively right now, for some reason. Maybe because we're trying to... Do we have Rally going right now? No, we do not. Okay. I was like, maybe we're trying to get armor on the backline, but no, our Rally's not going anymore. We were playing, like, really cautiously right at the start of that. Now we're in here fucking murdering Anna, so we got there in the end. But at the start of the fight, we were, like, really cautious and far back. But then we went in. All good. Got there. We did it. We captured the checkpoint. Now, as you can see, there isn't a whole lot of time left on this video. So, we don't play multiple rounds on Route 66. Not to spoil the surprise or anything, but even if they cap this in record time, like, mathematically, it just doesn't work out, because we got time still. Well, it doesn't matter if we got time, because, it's payload, so we gotta get the extension regardless. So what's our team now? Is it still Goats? Are we Goats again? Nope, there's Hanzo. Alright, okay. We've decided to go to the old fallback strat of Dragon Strike and Graviton being really good. Which is understandable. That does kill a lot of people. Well, not necessarily a lot of people. Depends on how good the Zarya is, doesn't it? So they got a Genji now, and we're playing Brigitte, so no big deal. We can fuck up Genji pretty good. We won't necessarily kill him anymore ever since the Shield Bash nerf, but, you know, we can still make it very difficult for him to play the video game. I assume we wanted the armor on the critical health person back there, but somebody got in the way. And that first push didn't exactly go great for them, did it? They're already tilted because they're like, I don't understand. We were killing them in their spawn, and then suddenly they captured the 3rd checkpoint with time to spare. I don't understand what happened. And people get tilted if you capture all the checkpoints regardless. Like, the defending team, just like, they lose. They get tilted at that point. Obviously, I don't have stats to back this up because I don't work at Blizzard HQ, but I would hypothesize that the team that defends first probably loses more on average than the team that defends second. Because people have unreasonable expectations for defending. Where, like, if they lose all of their checkpoints, they're just immediately tilted. Like, they got it all the way to the end. I guess we're gonna fucking lose now. Doesn't matter. All that matters is how well you attack, really. But, you know, people are like, they captured checkpoints. I'm tilted now. And as we know, the team that tilts first is the team that loses. And I mean, it's stupid to be that way, especially if you're the first defenders, because, like, you can, it can feel really arduous when you're defending, especially if you hold until, like, overtime, because it feels like it was a really long and drawn-out affair, and that makes the game feel like it was close. But then there have been a lot of times where I've been the first defenders, then I've turned around, and we've just rolled right the fuck over them when we got our turn to attack, and you're like, oh, I guess it wasn't actually that close at all. Which, I mean, makes sense, because if you held multiple checkpoints against them, that kind of indicates they're not actually that good, because the attacking team... A lot of the maps are kind of designed so that the attacking team gets pretty far in. They at least get to the last checkpoint. That's how the map design is kind of meant to be. That, like, the map is open at first to make it easier for the attackers to win, and then it narrows off towards the end, so that the defenders get that, like, desperate last stand kind of feeling. So, if you, like, hold them on multiple checkpoints, that kind of indicates they're not actually that good. So it shouldn't be that surprising when you then turn around and push over them way easier. But it can feel a lot closer than it actually is when you're defending first. And then, yeah, people... Overwatch community is very delicate. They like to get upset about things. I understand. I sympathize. So we were swinging at Zarya and we got shot in the side by somebody. They've got a Hanzo, I think, again. Either way, somebody shot us and did a lot of damage. And Zarya finished us off, but also Genji just used Dragon Blade and dashed through us. So we were not long for this world regardless right there. So, you know, that fight could have gone better. We've got a lot of ultimates, though, and we actually have time to regroup, because they still need to push it reasonably far. So, we actually can still hold on to this checkpoint, and I mean, you know, fucking timeline on the video, right? But not exactly unreasonable to expect it regardless. And hey, he gets nano boosted, goes in, lands the Earth Shatter. A little bit late, Zen, little bit late. Everybody was Earth Shattered, they were purple, you know, Ooh, just nano, ooh, managed to cancel that one. Yep, push him back, don't want him touching us. So that nano boost didn't get very far, did it? And, you know, now he's just gonna get really staggered, like him and Zenyatta just took 1,000 years to die, so... Really unfortunate for them. Now it's basically over. Because you know when that happens, like, they were like, we got it. We got this checkpoint. Oh, we don't got this checkpoint because Zen pushed his ultimate way too late to save anybody. And now they're tilted and they're e-bullying Zen. You know how it goes. And they were already tilted, as we established previously. So now they're double tilted. Here comes Reinhardt. Oh, the Toblerstein. Everybody's in it. Oh, counter black hole. Oh god. Oh, oof. We could have armor packed this boy, couldn't we? Oh no, he was purple. He was purple. Saw the purple health bar in there. All right, he was dead regardless. Okay, all right. Thought we could have saved him. No, I caught a glimpse of the purple health bar. So our black hole was better. Which is weird to think about, isn't it? Our crushing gravity was better than their crushing gravity. And, that's all you can really ask for in this game. We're basically, like, both teams are trying to do the exact same thing to win right now. And, we're just doing it slightly better than them. And that's all that matters, really, isn't it? We have 3 healers, huh? And just Hanzo's DPS. That's fine, honestly. Hanzo does a lot of DPS, so... It's alright, you know, if you're gonna have the 1 DPS, you kind of want it to be, like, a pretty strong, like, a pretty high output DPS, and Hanzo's definitely up there. Oh, look, Hanzo just killed literally their entire team when they have 10 seconds left, so I guess they lost the game. Oh, here comes Dragon Blade. Oh, no. He was pretty on that. It looked like he made it. Was it gonna make any difference if he made it or not? No, but it looked like he made it. So, Hanzo got play of the game. How shocking. I wonder what it was. Oh, really? It was right here. Damn, I remember it as if it was yesterday. Ooh. Brigitte's upset. Brigitte's upset about that one. Alright, so that went well. That went well. Alright, so now let's come over here and have a gander at the questions we got in the email today. So... Let's see, what should I be doing during the poke phases of fights? I feel like I'm not contributing anything when I'm standing around waiting for the fight to turn into a brawl. That's pretty much exactly what happens when you're playing Brigitte, is you do spend some time, like, waiting around when the fight's in the poking phase. Basically all you're really looking to do is, like, hit somebody with Whip shot to, Rip shot would be pretty wicked. If we get, like, a chainsaw skin for Brigitte, that'd be rad. Like, you'll spend some time waiting around. The best thing you can do is just try to land whip shot on somebody to proc Inspire, and then you can heal people while the poke phase is going on. And that's basically all you can really do. You just sit around waiting for stuff to happen, trying to proc Inspire where possible, trying to, like, do what little poking Brigitte can. And yeah, like, she's one of those heroes where, like, there will be periods where there just isn't really very much for you to do, because you have almost no ranged abilities, so you kind of just gotta wait around for an opportunity to do something, somebody to be out of position, somebody tries to dive in, so you fuck them up, you know, that kind of thing. It's just how it is. It's just how the hero is, so don't be too upset, or try not to be too upset if you feel like you're spending a lot of time waiting around. It's just kind of how the hero is. It's like if you're playing, like, Winston on defense, like, you just spend some time waiting around for something to happen. It's the same way. Should I be trading myself for the enemy Rhine? I am often able to stun him out of his charge and my team is able to kill him, but I usually also end up dying. So ideally, no, you don't also die, but trading off healer for main tank is a beneficial trade for your team, so it's not the worst thing in the world if it happens, but ideally, no, you don't die. It kind of depends on what's happening with the charge. Brigitte, you need to think about countercharging a little bit more than you do when you're playing Reinhardt, because if you're playing Reinhardt, it's pretty much just like, you do it, right? Like, you countercharge. Brigitte, because she's a lot softer than Reinhardt is, she doesn't have the buffer of, like, usually surviving when you countercharge. So it's like, if you think that he's gonna pin somebody, then you want to do it. And I mean, with Reinhardt, you just kind of do it because, like, he might pin somebody, right? And usually, like, Reinhardt isn't in a position to be super aware of exactly where everybody is standing behind him, so you kind of just do it because you probably won't die, and it negates the risk. Brigitte, there's more risk associated with it, so you want to be a little bit more certain if he's going to pin somebody. Because if he's going to pin somebody, and, like, that person is probably going to die if they get pinned, right? Unless they're a tank like Roadhog or Diva, you know, in which case they probably don't. But if he pins somebody else, they probably die. So in which case you would want to countercharge him. If it doesn't look like he's going to pin anybody, then it's actually usually better to let him complete the charge, then stun him. Because if you let him go all the way to the end of the charge, you can just stun him. You don't have to get knocked down then. He's further in your team, stunned, and then your team just kills him, and he's stunned, so what's he gonna do about it? There's also a tendency for Reinhardts to, like, charge in and then Earth Shatter when they arrive, which is not really what they should be doing, but it's what a lot of people like to do, particularly in lower SRs, so there's also usually the fact where if you wait for him to finish the charge and then stun him, probably like 30% of the time, you also just take his Earth Shatter away from him. So that's also cool. So, you know, you gotta kind of like think about it a little bit more than if you're Reinhardt. If you think somebody will die, then yes, you should just countercharge him, because, I mean, you might probably still die, depending on the position that you're in, but, like, if he pins somebody, they die. So it's better to do that than let him kill somebody. But if it doesn't look like he's gonna, wait for him to finish, then stun him, and then you can just gank him with his team, right? It's not really ganking him, is it, if he just, like, dives, you know? It's not like we crept up on him and surprised him. Yeah, so, and, you know, if you're Brigitte, you're a little bit further back than Reinhardt is. You've usually got a little bit more time to, like, look around and see where everybody's at, so hopefully you're a little bit more clued into exactly where your team is. So, you know, try and figure out what he's gonna do with the charge, and then react accordingly. Let's see, and then, should I be more in the front with my tanks? I find that I am often hovering between the tanks and the supports because I'm more focused on peeling for supports than brawling with the tanks. It depends on the game and what you feel like you need to do at the time. Like, yes, you are meant to peel for the backline. This is, like, priority number one for Brigitte, is peeling for the backline. So, if they're... And this is why you need to play it a little bit by ear, because it depends on what the enemy team is. Because if they have flankers, divers, something like that, then yeah, you'll want to sort of hover between the two, so that you can kind of help with the front line if you have to, but then when somebody's harassing the back line, you can just fall back and help them, you know. When they've got somebody who can threaten your back line by either diving in or flanking, then you stick closer to your back line to help them. But if there isn't anybody like that on the enemy team, like if they haven't got any divers or flankers, you can pretty much just stick up with the front line and like fight with them, because what's going to happen to the back line, right? So just kind of like look at the enemy team comp and think like, what realistically can threaten my backline in this game? If the enemy team is something like Ash McCree as the DPS, and then it's like Rhine, Zarya, there's nobody who can like dive your backline on that team, right? I mean, I guess unless like their Lucio is gonna get up to some shit, right? I guess, but like, if it's like that kind of team comp where they've got like 2 hit scan DPS, Ryan, Zarya, like Anna, Mercy, something like that, there's nothing that can threaten your backline, really. At least nothing that you can realistically help with other than throwing an armor pack on people. So you just stick up with the front line and fight up there instead. So it depends on the game. And if it's somewhere, if like they do have somebody that can threaten your backline, you don't want to usually just like sit back with your backline. You want to be close enough that like you can help them if they need it, but you also want to be in a position where you can help the front line if you have to as well. So you do want to kind of like hover in between the two so you can respond appropriately. If their team is like, if their team is just like constantly on your backline, then feel free to sit like right next to the Anna the entire time in that case. Like, if they're on her constantly, you sit on Anna's head and don't let anybody touch her. That's fair enough. So yeah, look at the enemy team comp and then judge what reasonably threatens your backline, and then position accordingly relative to if they have divers and flankers or not, basically, is how it goes. And that is the last question in the email. So, thank you very much for watching if you did. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer. If you felt I answered your questions from the email inadequately, please let me know and I will try to expand further. If you haven't already, you can join our Discord and ask questions more directly and have a conversation about them, or just shitpost with us. And I hope you found the video helpful.